This is pretty much a universal ingredient to make anyone fall in love with you, okay? And this is, you see this with, even when you pick a dog, even when you pick a cat, you see this with family. This is what happens every time people fall in love, okay? Now, there are some qualities that are outside of your control, right? And that's what I like to call the mystery aspect. You don't know who you're getting most of the time, but most of the time, the people you're getting are not good for you, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is the success rate with this, in terms of making someone fall in love, is not high, but its success is because you're able to filter people much quicker and find the people who actually like you. The problem is that too many people spend time trying to convince someone who doesn't like them to like them. And at the end of the day, that's just low self-esteem. You don't know how to manage rejection, and so you get more aggressive when someone doesn't like you back, right? Their rejection hurts you so much that the only way for you to feel better is to get their validation, right? That's low self-esteem, pretty much. So this is a very realistic video. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not gonna tell you any magical shit, but I swear to God, you listen to what I'm saying, you do exactly what I say, and you will find someone who loves you, or you'll be able to filter bullshitters. Because the problem is that in the process of finding someone who loves us, we get jaded. Because we get confronted with psychopaths, sociopaths, and people who just want to fuck with us. Seriously, like this happened. I got jaded when I was younger, because I made the mistake of going on Tinder. I'm thinking, okay, maybe nice people are there. So you gotta know where you're finding these people, okay? So with that being said, let's begin with the video. And if you guys wanna work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org. So the first one is, and this is the most important thing, and people don't do this because they don't want the fantasy to end when they find someone that approximates what they want, is that you first wanna look for red flags. Why red flags? Well, your natural creepy inclination is to ignore the red flags when everything looks great. Success has a momentum that blinds us from danger, right? And so when you don't look for red flags, what happens is that you develop a creepy look about you. Let's get a little bit zoom in right here. Right here, right? Right here. You develop let's draw right here. You develop a creepy look about you that creeps people out. And the reason why is because you're not in alert mode. You're not in I'm looking for red flags mode, right? Alert mode is this. You're not looking for red flags. It's like, right? And so that's the issue, is that when you don't look for red flags, the way you communicate completely changes. In fact, they'll lose respect because sometimes they know they're showing you red flags, but because you're so needy and creepy and desperate, you're ignoring it. And they're like, oh, this person ignored my psychotic breakdown. Okay. And what happens is that now your desire to find someone who really likes you, you're eventually going to end up with a narcissist, and that's it. The search has stopped with the first or second person that you met. And then you say, why is it that nobody likes me? It's because you're hovering around someone who doesn't even fucking like you. Like people just don't know how to read red flags. Inconsistencies, taking early hours to respond, canceling last minute, ghosting and then coming back. That's a red flag. That's not someone who's mysterious or interested. No, that's a evil motherfucker. And it's important that if you really want somebody to love you, you gotta push these people away, because they're weeds. They grow everywhere. They're spam. Honestly, that's really, I think that's the biggest reason. People just don't know when to quit. They don't know when to say goodbye. For the simple being that they look nice, they're shiny, they're attractive, but you're ignoring the fact that this person doesn't like you and they're not being honest with you. And you're sticking to it, and the more you stay, the more you're gonna fall in love with that person. And you're gonna lose out on real good people. Because the truth is, for example, with me, most women that I meet are not gonna be good for me. And if I try to change the first, second, and third girl that I meet, maybe on the fifth or the sixth one was the one for me, but because I stay playing in the dirt with the goofy ones, I'll never meet her. And when I do meet her, I've been jaded and hurt and bamboozled and led astray by all these evil fucks that when I meet her, she don't even want me. Looking out for red flags shows them that you're not stupid. It shows them that you have standards. And you only get positives from that. That's the first step. Look out for red flags. And usually, you'll see the red flags in the first 2 or 3 months. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to let you guys know that you got to learn how to eject as soon as possible. Next thing, spend boring time with them. When I mean boring time, I mean simple, sober time. Reason why is because if you date someone and they always have to drink around you, always have to do crack, always have to have a high, always have to be at the best restaurants, this person is not it. They can't enjoy our quality time without drugs or without having extravagant experiences. That's another way to filter out the wrong people. And another thing is that when you spend boring time with them, it allows them to, when they think of you, so their brains to exaggerate those simple, boring-ass memories of eating and watching TV. And when they're in your absence, they start to reframe those memories and exaggerate how great that was. And the beauty about the reframing is that when you reframe it, it takes up a lot of energy. And what do I mean by that? Each time you have to reframe a memory that looks boring to make it more extravagant, the more they end up liking you. That process creates more attachment. So spend boring time watching TV, going on a walk, simple shit. That don't mean you don't go out on expensive dates. If you could. But what I'm trying to say is boring time is the building blocks from whenever they think of you to recall you with more exaggeration. They diminish your negative flaws and all that kind of stuff. So spend boring time. So red flags, and while you're looking out for those red flags, spend a boring time. Again, doesn't mean you don't go on vacation, but this is what makes people fall in love. Simple moments. Why? Because then you give them more space than necessary. Right? And the reason why is because once you give somebody more space than necessary, you can start to see some things about them. Right? One, you can see if they're controlling people. In your absence, some people who are toxic will tell you that they care about you and they don't want, and they need to know exactly what you're doing. Be careful with people like that. Be careful. In this stage, making somebody fall in love is not about charming them. It's really just observing and reading them. And that observation requires spending time and then requires absence for you to think about it. But in your absence, that's when their brain is going to do the dirty work for you. They're going to start to imagine those boring moments and exaggerate it, right? But also, you're able to see, one, how they react in your absence. Do they need to spend all the time with you? There's nothing wrong with wanting to spend all the time with you, but we want to see if there's toxicity there. We want to see if there's controlling, gaslighting, jealousy, that type of shit, right? And the next thing is that in order to give them more space than necessary, you got to have a life. If you can't do this, you don't have a life. And eventually the relationship you're gonna get in might become exploitive. Now, there's nothing wrong with two people who are codependent. Nothing wrong with that, right? It's totally fine. The problem is when you're not like that. Like when you're the type of person that wants distance and they don't. These things, you figure it out. And what happens is that naturally you're gonna come to disagreements. You're gonna have conflict. And resolving these conflict, how much time you spend together, who you hang out with, will one, show you who they are, and two, the conflict causes a type of tension that in your absence, they think, oh, I hope I don't lose them. You solve the problem, and now they feel, oh, I got them back. And that conflict, which is natural because you don't know each other, it eventually creates an upward spiral where each time you have conflict, you can reconciliate. Conflict, you reconciliate. It creates an upward spiral of love, right? Without the conflict, which is conflict is like nagging, right? Conflict is like that bad feeling, oh, I hope I don't lose them, right? You create the fear of losing them. And once it gets resolved, it's like a happy, like a warm feeling. But you do this while talking, discussing, not going Bronx mode of fighting them. You get what I'm saying? And honestly, this is the best way to do it, man. It's not manipulative. You're always gonna have conflict. You don't have to orchestrate it. As you get to know someone, there are things you're gonna disagree about. And if you talk it out calmly, you're able to see that both of you guys are people of character, but also you end up liking them more when you reconcile. All right? So this is a process, man. Look out for red flags, spend more time, give it more space than necessary, and allow conflict to arise and pass away. And that is how you make, that's the ingredient to make anybody fall in love with you. All right? Anyways, take it. Are you needy and creepy? Do you have a tough time coming across confident when you like the person? A lot of the times you just don't know what to do. You have habits and patterns that whenever somebody triggers you, you completely forget what to do the right thing. Well, guess what? I have a course for that. And it's called The Psychological Game of Attraction, Natural Chemistry, and The Feminine Woman, what I call the fundamentals. All of those courses are meant to eradicate and exercise the needy, creepy parts in you through action. Meaning, you do what the videos say, and without a shadow of a doubt, you actually get the results. You'll notice that men call you back more. Men will want more relationships with you. They're gonna be the ones that are needy and creepy. They're gonna be the ones that want something. They're gonna be the ones that are the aggressors in trying to get a relationship out of you. But the problem is that a lot of people just watch one or two videos and completely forget that there's actually a system. Don't just watch one or two videos. Get the system either by purchasing all of them and get a discount, or purchase them individually. Because a lot of the times just watching one video in isolation, you actually miss the big picture. You have to understand why it works. You have to understand what to do next. And a lot of times my videos just can't address that. A lot of people, you'll see by the testimonies right here, a lot of people have done what those videos say and they've gotten results. Like the other day, I was in Mexico and they were like, hey, Alexis, and I'm like, hey, oh my God, your videos are so great. And I'm like, and she was like, look at my kid. I'm like, what you talk about your kid? That's not my kid. She's like, no, because of him, because of your videos, he's here. And I'm like, okay, all right, that's a thing. But I get that a lot. And ironically, that woman watches all of my videos, right? So purchase those courses, man. And if you don't like it, you actually could get a 30-day money-back guarantee, right? Purchase them individually or get a discount and purchase them all by clicking on the description down below. You have the option of purchasing the one with the bonuses that obviously it's more material, where it's like I give you guys meditations. There's also other courses on how to make friends, how to master anything, or you could purchase it without the bundle, which is much more affordable, all right? And with that, you guys are able to support my channel, which will allow me to make more videos, okay? Anyways, see you guys inside, and thank you.